Hello everyone and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show, where I want to remind you that wine is not a mystery, it's just a beverage, and a pretty good one at that, if you ask me. So today we're going to go blind. We're going to do Zinfandel. I have 4 Zinfandels that were bagged for me. I don't know what they are. I am going to go through them blind. Now, why blind? I was just watching an old program with Raja Par. He's a fairly, he's a celebrity sommelier. And he said before he brought a wine into a restaurant, he tasted them all blind. Had the sales rep pour them in a glass, and he just went at them blind. Now there's a I don't have the time to do that at store level. Where I work, I have a tiny office. It's a rabbit hutch. We call it the rabbit hutch. I share it with the grocery manager, Pat. And, you know, I have to do it. I have to see the wines, taste through them. But one of the advantages to blind tasting, aside from training your palate on what to perceive in a wine, is it takes away the human element. In other words, you know, there's certain, and I've talked about this before, there's certain wine reps that I like a lot, and there's certain wine reps that, you know, I get along with. Actually, I get along with all of my wine reps. I like them all. But sometimes, you know, you kind of want to, you know, these guys have been really good to me. I'd really like to, you know, show their wines in a good way. Now, I'm trying to be, I believe I'm a straight shooter. If you ask all my guys, they'll tell you I call it like I see it. If I don't like it, I'm going to tell you I don't like it, and I'm going to tell you why I don't like it. But the blind format kind of takes all that human element away. You're just tasting the wines, you're judging them without having the people in mind, although that shouldn't make a difference. I think most wine guys would agree that it does, you know, there is a little bit of an element there, especially if you know the winemaker. That makes it even tougher. You know, sometimes you get to be friends with these winemakers, and of course I said it and I'll keep to it anytime I do an interview with I have an interview coming up with Kyra Burlacher, Kyra Wine. She's coming up in March to do a tasting up here, and you know, I'm not going to grade the wines in front of them, not just because if I don't like it, I don't want to hurt their feelings. I'm not sure if I could do the wine justice, having the winemaker sitting right next to me. You know, I just know the human element. So, we're going to taste 4 wines, Zinfandels. I love Zinfandel. Now, the funny thing about it is, I like all kinds of wines. I like Chinon, I like the vegetal wines, I like the earthy, old world style wines, and I love the big fruit bombs from time to time. And Zinfandel is known to be on the fruity side, of course. Now, there are Zins that are not necessarily fruity. We did a in-store wine tasting yesterday. And it was interesting that of all the wines that I had out there, and these were, you know, kind of a Valentine feature, of all the wines I had out there, the favorite was the Zinfandel, which kind of surprised me. Because a lot of people, you know, they don't like fruit wine. But this was it was a Shooting Star Zin, excellent Zin, good balance. So I understand that, but it just kind of surprised me because we had a Graciano there from Spain. We had a Merlot from San Juan Vineyards, which I think is fabulous. And we had a rosé and a couple of sparklers. So there was a lot to choose from, and a lot of people, I think, across the board, really like the Zinfandel. So we're going to taste 4 Zins. I'm going to analyze them, I'm going to grade them, then we'll unbag them. Let's see how we do. So let's see. There's number 1. Number 1. There you go. Let's see what we got. We're going to do a little rinse. Yeah, it was a really interesting interview with Raja Par. A very intriguing guy. I don't believe he's a master sommelier, but I think he's an advanced sommelier. I'll have to look that up. I didn't really do that. What I like about Zinfandel is this can be a cocktail wine. I really like the ones that show the pepper on them because that kind of helps them out with some different foods. So I'm getting a little alcohol in the nose. There's definitely a jammy element. It's a little restrained. I get a lot of cherry fruit, a little red currant action. There's a dusty element, which is quite interesting. I remember the tablecloth. Again, I'm on a roll. Got my little mental checklist. Tablecloth, you know, make sure everything's set up just right, all that. I'm getting a lot of comments about the blinds behind me. Not sure what to do about that. If you have any suggestions, make a comment. It doesn't bother me. This is my bar. This is my house. That's my Pisano from Ari. I like all those things. Oops. Yeah. Anyway. So, you know, but I do want to make everybody happy. I want them to please them. You can see it's got some sunshine going outside, like that. I even get a little bit of a raspberry element, a little bit of black licorice, anise, as some people like to say. There's even a little, like, I get this like little, like a plum pudding thing going on. Let's see what we get on the palate. Good acidity. I mean, this popped in my mouth. It's like one of those. I get the alcohol, and that's one of the things that people are opposed to with Zinfandels. There is quite a bit of heat on a lot of them. This has a heat, but I mean, it's not overbearing. It's in balance. It's got good acidity, which is very unusual, at least in my opinion, for a Zinfandel to have that kind of brightness to it. But it's good. I like it. It's got like this bright cherry, like you just a skosh underripe with a little red raspberry element going on. More than anything else, I'd say this is maybe a nice little crushed rock. Very interested to see what number one is. Not your, what I'd call a typical Zin. I'm getting a little bit of white pepper. It's kind of hanging around. I like that finish. And it's mouth-watering. I mean, this is, you know, put this on some serious barbecue sauce. You got to be careful. Make sure the barbecue sauce isn't too sweet because it might grip this thing up a little bit. Some savory barbecue sauce, barbecue ribs, steak. This has good acid to it. I'm impressed by that. I'm getting like a little huckleberry, you know, those little red huckleberries that you ate. It's kind of hanging on the backside. Red cherries for sure. I don't get the black licorice on the palate. I don't taste any really like fakiness on it, which, you know, I was always concerned. They weren't worried about deacidifying this baby. I like it. I mean, this isn't a solo Zin. I would say have it with food. Have some hamburgers. Have a pizza. Have something that's... I'm really curious which what this one is because I'm very impressed with the acidity. Am I going to say it over and over? And come on, Stan. You get the picture. Very good food Zin. I like the lingering finish. I like that kind of huckleberry thing going on the backside. I like the cherry notes. I'm going to give that one a B+. I'm curious what vintage is. I'm getting. It's pretty youthful. I'm going to say it's a 2012, 11 at the oldest. Be curious to see what that one is. What's one and number two? B+ on number one. Maybe I should write that down. Let's write that down so I don't forget. Sometimes I forget. Now I didn't look up the prices on these wines. I'll do my best to. So B+ for number one. Maybe I should keep that to myself. I'm going to do that. I'll grade them afterwards. You already know what number one got. Number one to number two. This is a heavy bottle. I've been reading a book by Shannon Borg. Green Vine, I think it's called. It examines biodynamic farming, certifications of organic. And she goes on quite a little bit about using heavy glass, how much more it costs to ship it, all that stuff. You know, she has a valid point. I mean, is it really necessary to use a big, heavy bottle? I know a lot of people, and a lot of wineries like to do that because it's, you know, makes it seem fancier. Maybe they can charge some more money. But, you know, just think about the environmental impact that has if somebody doesn't recycle that glass. Look at all that glass, it's wasted. Anyway, off the soapbox, I just thought I'd pitch that for Shannon Borg. I'm very interested. The book is very interesting. I'm almost finished with it. There's more certifications in the United States for organic, biodynamic, fish-friendly, bee-friendly, all that. It's crazy. Hard to keep up with. That would have been a hard book to write. Good job. Let's see what we get on the nose with number 2. So this goes into the brown sugar currant action, which is not uncommon for a Zinfandel. Very deep, kind of rich. You get the impression of richness, like rich, heavy fruit. Like you know, obviously there's a lot of glycerin on this. The wine hangs on the rim of the glass. Very dark. Let's see if we can get some white paper for you. Yeah. I don't know if you can see that, but you know, it's a very dense color. You know, it's pretty uniform across the glass as far as the color goes. I just can't get past the brown sugar and currant. It's all right. Let's see what we got on the palate. So this is for those Zinfandel drinkers that want a big, jammy, lot of black currants. Lot of black currants on this baby. And there goes my dog. Bella, go, come on, no barking. She's been in a couple of videos with the barking thing. I might have to let her outside. Anyway, there's a little bit of, it's not total fruit bomb, it's not goopy. There's a nice little beam of acid on the back end of this wine, which is interesting. But it definitely has the brown currant, big brown currant, brown sugar thing going on the palate. It's lingering quite a bit. It's like somebody, you know, whipped up some really ripe black currants, maybe a little bit of fig, and then threw some brown sugar on top of it. This is from a really warm region. I would guess maybe Lodi. Not positive, but Lodi is one of those areas. Like number 1 could be a Napa Zinfandel, or where else would they make Zin? That Napa, could be Central Coast up in the mountains, not at Lodi specifically. Maybe I'm losing it. Where is all my grabbing for straws here? I'm not even going to go there right now. For some reason, my mind must be on the tasting I'm doing tonight. Amador County is a little bit warmer also, but Lodi is definitely a place where you expect to get big, ripe, jammy wine. So number 2 could be Lodi. You know, I'm saying there's a lot. Actually, there's a little grip, so I'm thinking there's a little bit of oak on this one, on the back end. This is kind of an interesting Zin because it's got the big fruit, that flavor profile of black currants and brown sugar, but there's a little bit of acidity on the back end, which is interesting, which kind of balances it out. I'm guessing this is up in the upper scale of the alcohol range because of the ripeness of that fruit. But it finishes with that little bit of a grip. Tannins, a little bit of minerality. I like that part of it. This is an interesting Zinfandel. I think this you could drink by itself for sure. It has that kind of fruit forwardness that a lot of people like in Zin. The reason people buy Zinfandel, not everybody, but a lot of people buy Zin. So let's score it. Yeah, let's score it, and I'm going to say alcohol on the plus side. just out of curiosity. See how good I'm doing. See how my palate is doing. So, number 2's in the book. Let's go on to number 3. Boy, number 2 is just lingering around my palate. For those of you that, like I said, it kind of covers a wide range of palate preferences. And for those of you who like the big jammy Zins, you're probably going to like it. To me, Zinfandel can be like dessert sometimes. You know, it's just one of those wines where you know, you're feeling like, yeah, it was a rough day. I want a little bit of, you know, pamper myself a little bit. I always break out a Zinfandel. That's why you can never find one in my house. I got wine all over the place. I got samples I've got to taste. I've got wines I bought. Hard to find a Zinfandel in this because, you know, it's just that wine sometimes I like to crack open and drink. So this has a little bit of petrol, like a rubber boot thing going on. Interesting, I like that. Let's do the color thing. So this is I would say a little lighter than, not much, but a little bit lighter than the other one. Same color, there's no color variation across the top. You know, it seems to be pretty much the same. I'm guessing this, the number 2, I'm guessing is probably a 2011. Definitely, I like that. And this is an interesting thing about Zinfandel. Sometimes you can get almost that, like Alsatian Rieslings, where you get that little bit of rubber boot sort of petrol thing going on. Not a lot of fruit popping out on this one, which is interesting. I'm getting like a perfume, like that little soapy perfume, like a perfumed currant soap bar. There's a dusty component on it. The petrol is still there, blowing off just a little bit of a beach ball component. An edge of currants for sure on that. Let's see what we get on the palate. Number 3 is my favorite so far, and I'll tell you why. It's got a lot of spice, a lot of white pepper, black pepper elements right from the back of the mid palate into the finish. It's got good weight, a little freshness on the backside, a big currant, kind of blackberry, brambleberry thing going on. When we say brambleberry, just so you know brambles are, you know, it could be boysenberry, blackberry, anything that grows with all the thorns on it. I'm getting a lot of that. It's powerful on the palate, but it doesn't go to the brown sugar side like number 2 did. It's more of like a very controlled sort of, like a really good quality gourmet jam that, you know, has a full berries in it, you know, kind of like where it's not super sweet. It's just good. It's just delicious. Very delicious wine. This one's hard to spit out. I'm getting a little grip on the back end, which means maybe had a little bit of oak treatment on it, just a slight, not new oak, but there is something there. A little bit of grip, the freshness I like up front. I like the brambleberry, the currants. I'm even getting a little bit of like a red, black licorice thing going on. Number 3 is what I would call a Zinfandel drinker's Zin. This is the kind of Zin, if you're into Zin, this one would not last in my house. I would have it in my thing, I would put it away and say I'm going to forget about it, and guess what? I would pull it out. That first day I'm craving a Zinfandel. Now I'm not saying I only crave Zin. I love Burgundy, I love Pinot Noir. Burgundy and Pinot Noir are the same, but I mean I love old world stuff. There's times I really are in the mood for a Syrah. But what I'm saying is, generally speaking, overall, the one I go to a lot of times when I just want to sit down, relax, watch a movie, or, you know, have some popcorn and gorgonzola, I'll grab a bottle of Zin. Petrol's coming through on number 3. I'm liking number 3. I'm curious to see what that is, because it has all, it kind of is a cross between these two. I'm not getting a lot of heat on, so I'm going to say medium alcohol. I'm going to guess this is a 2011 also, maybe 12, maybe. It's fairly youthful. It's got that freshness to it. Might be a 12. I'm guessing 11 though. These might all be 11. On to number 4. Number 4. This is a heavier style bottle also. Are you guys fooled by the heavy bottle? If you're like, oh boy, this must be an expensive wine, it's in a heavy bottle. Don't be. Sometimes they put really crappy wine in a heavy bottle, and, you know, that's just to sell it. I've had some pretty bad wines in big bottles, like heavy, big, thick glass, you know. Don't let it fool you. That's just a marketing gimmick. And I've had some good wines in heavy bottles. I just don't see a need for it. I mean, really, guys, at the winery level, you know, hopefully the blue-collar guys can say, hey, you know, don't fall for that crap. You know, it's just the bottle. What matters is what's inside. That's on number 4. Let's see what's on the nose. Okay, this goes to the brown sugar currant level. This has some really seriously ripe fruit on the nose. This is really close to number 2. I mean, a lot of brown sugar and black currants. You know, like really ripe cherries? It is sweet. You know, it's like when you go into a dessert shop and you're smelling all the sweet desserts. This smells like a dessert in the glass. Let's see what we get on the palate. The thinnest one of the bunch. Definitely the body is medium minus. I mean, it's very light. I get a little bit of pepper action on the back end. Definitely the brown sugar currant thing there, but it's very, very light for a Zinfandel. I mean, extremely light. I want to apologize right away. I did not look up the prices on these things. It didn't occur to me because I was doing this blind. So on the comments down below, when I write out what this video is about, I'll put the prices next to the wine so you can see what they are. I apologize for that. Number 4, there's a lot of spice action going on the back end. It's fairly light. It's got some good, I mean, it's brown sugar currant, little, with a lot of white black pepper at the end. I think if the price is right, now I don't know, I wish I would have looked these up. I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize from my standpoint because, you know, usually I try to mark all the prices on the back of the labels, and I might know some of them, but I might not know all of them. So I apologize for that. I will post it down there. Number 4 is what I would call, as a wine steward, I would call it a introductory level Zinfandel. For somebody that, you know, doesn't want a big, jammy, you know, Smucker Zin, doesn't want too much going on. It seems to be lighter in alcohol, but the fruit is pretty powerful. So I would be surprised if it wasn't at least over 14.5. Most of these probably are, except for number 1. I'm just guessing. It might be lower in alcohol. Very light on the palate, good flavors for those who want to see what a Zin can be about. I would like to see it be a little bit more interesting than that, but you know, I don't know what the price is, so let's just give it a score here. And I'm guessing this is probably 2012. It tastes fairly young, fairly youthful. like I said. Okay, let's unbag them. Let's see where we are. So, in last place was number 4, and like I said, the only reason I gave it a C+. Second place goes to number 2 with a B. Third place goes to number 1 with a B+, and then in first place was number 3, sorry, with an A. So 3 was hit my sweet spot for a Zinfandel, where I like, what I think a lot of people would like about a Zin. So let's check it out. What came in last place? All right. Okay, this is a new one. I've never, okay, this is 2011, so I missed a year by year. This is Lodi Zin. Get these guys out of the way. Sorry about that. Gotta quit apologizing. It's my show. No, anyway. There you go. So this is a nice, depending on the price, this is a nice wine. I don't know the price. I'm guessing it's probably around $10. I wish I wrote it down. I will post it down below, so stay tuned for that one. So this is Delta Landing 2011 Zinfandel, Lodi, California. And let's see what the alcohol is on it. Now this is always fun to do with Zin. 13%. Let's see, I said medium minus alcohol, so I knew it was a lighter side alcohol. For a Lodi, that's pretty amazing. Now they can wiggle on about a percentage, but still, to roll in at 13% alcohol, a lot of you might like it. It's a good entry level Zin. I give it a C+, not a bad grade, depending on the price. So, let's move on. With a B, number 2, Old Ghost Zinfandel 2011, Old Vine Zin, Lodi appellation, and I believe this rolls in at around $20, but I'm not positive. I've had this one in the past. Old Ghost, it is done by Klinkerbrick Winery. They do their other Zinfandel that I sell does really well. So, I gave that one a B. Let's see what the alcohol is on that one. I guessed it was plus on the alcohol level. And let's see. Sometimes it's hard to find the alcohol. That always frustrates me. You know, just put it on there, guys. A lot of us, 15.9, almost 16% alcohol. So there you have it. That was one that had a lot of that brown sugar element. Number 1, with a B+. I like this one a lot. Is the Dashe. That's been a while. 2011 Zinfandel Dry Creek Valley. So I knew it wasn't in a hotter location. Dry Creek's warm, but not nearly as warm as Lodi. I didn't think of Dry Creek. Should have. Sonoma County. There you have it. Dashe Zinfandel. This is really an iconic Zin. A lot of people like Dashe. And I liked it too. I gave it a B+. I guessed it on the lower alcohol side. Good job. So, in first place, I gave it an A. Guessed it at medium alcohol. Is the Montoya Old Vine Zin 2011 Lodi. Very interesting. Let's see if we can find. And this one rolls in at $11.99. Oh, by the way, the Dashe is about $18. I do know that. This one rolls in at $11.99. Thank you, Matthew, for putting the price on the back. I should ask all my guys to do that, really. I should. All right, let's see what the alcohol is on this one. I said medium alcohol. This one is 14.5. So, yeah, that's medium for a Zin. Let's see, did I zoom in on that? It's funny because I saw this Montoya. Now, I like a lot of the Montoya wines. I think they do an excellent job. And they did a good job on the Zin. This falls right in my palate preference. And I believe, not just mine, but I believe a lot of customers will like this one. At $11.99, that is a great value in Zinfandel. Good job, Montoya. Actually, good job, all of you. I didn't really have a bad one that I didn't like. You know, so good job. thanks for watching. If you don't drink Zin, tell me why you don't drink Zin. Do you hate it? Do you think that you can't drink it if you're a serious wine drinker? There are a lot of guys out there that think that Zinfandel, the wine snobs, a lot of them will not touch a Zinfandel. So, if you want to, tell me why. Give me a legitimate reason why you wouldn't drink a Zin. Have a great day. Cheers, and here's to keeping the snob out of wine.